So look, I've got a number of questions I wanted to run through today, some from us and some from the community. But I guess the best place to start would be to look at what the experience you've had so far at Salesforce, and I guess what have been some of the biggest highlights in your time with Salesforce as a business.
Yeah, it's a funny time in some ways to ask the question about the biggest highlight, isn't it? With everything that is going on around us on the planet, in our communities, to our friends and family right now. So I think actually may not have been what it had said maybe a month ago, but right now it's how the team is responding in a time of crisis for our customers, for our community, for each other. I've been so in awe of the people on our team and how they've put their own needs aside to try and help somebody else. And I think that is the reason I joined this company is because I believed in the values and I believe they really lived to the values. And there's been no better example than the one I'm seeing right now. I'm super proud of the team.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that's great. I think, yeah, like you said, it's probably not the best question, but the the timing is pretty crazy at the moment. So it's good to see that you can take the positives out of the way the team are acting and so on. So the Salesforce community is there's the community is very very strong. We call it, you call it, everyone calls it the Ohana. So how much did you know
Mhm.
about the Salesforce Ohana before you joined?
Not too much, to be honest. Like I'd seen Salesforce from the outside. I'd heard a little bit about the culture and how they referred to it and Ohana and a number of the other terms they've used. So for me, I didn't have a great deal of knowledge, but I knew something must be working because I keep seeing them win awards, innovation awards, best place to work awards. So it's really, though, not until I've actually immersed myself in it, till it's become that lived experience that I've had a true appreciation for it. I went to Dreamforce. I've never seen such a vibrant customer community before. Customers helping other customers, sharing the things that they've done, what's worked, what hasn't. It's like, you can't buy that. You earn it. You don't buy it. It's an incredible sense of connection. Our relationship with not for profits, what we do in the not for profit community, not just in letting them use the software and the product for free, but the VTO hours, getting our employees to actually help those not profits. It's so multifaceted. It's incredible.
Sure. And you've been very visible in the community since you came into the ecosystem. I was at Dreamforce myself, and I saw you at some of the local events, the APAC Welcome events. I've seen you at user groups. So was that always something that was really important for you when you joined the business, to be seen and to be kind of part of the community?
It's really funny, that question. I don't think I'm any different in the last 6 months doing this as I do anything for me. I've um I've tried to live to a few things. Transparency, transparency with judgment, okay? Authenticity, accessibility. And I think if you have those things, then actually, you might see it as visibility. I just see it in living the way that I believe I need to live in order to do the job I'm doing. I don't think the truth lies in a corner office in our building. The truth lies in how our customers are actually experiencing our product, what's working, what's not. The truth lies in hearing from our partners about how we're engaging in our customers together, with our sales teams together. It lies with our employees and how we treat them and how they feel about that. And so I think if you can be transparent and authentic, then you get to hear the truth and then you can learn and do something about it. So I've just always worked that way.
Sure. And I see you on Twitter regularly, so that it's amazing to be, and I guess Mark Benioff is on Twitter the whole time as well. So it's good to be able to see the leaders of the business truly embedded in the community, and actually hearing what you see and do on a day to day basis.
Yeah, I have to say, of course I follow Mark. I followed him for a while. I like Twitter for a number of things. You know, People are going to talk about things, whether you're there or not. Twitter isn't about controlling a conversation. Twitter is about
Sure.
participating in it. Now, I think we should be doing that in a respectful way. But I think it's, I can hear customers complain really quickly and then go, okay, I've got a problem, and I can connect into it. I can connect with customers and partners who aren't, geographically, proximate to me. So you get that access. I can see trends and sentiments. I like to be in that. And everything I tweet is not always Salesforce. But it's areas I think we're aligned to. I'm a big believer in equality in all its forms: gender, age, race, religion, sexual orientation, cognitive. So I like to, tweet around equality. I like to tweet around innovation and technology, around corporate and social responsibility, around Salesforce. So you get a bit of all of that, and then you get a little bit of
Yeah,
me as
yeah.
well. And I like to have a little bit of fun as
I
well.
saw you promoting the paella company. What a great idea.
Yes. So this is a young couple who've spent a couple of years building out a catering company, and now, there's no events to cater. So that business just collapsed overnight. And so what they've done is created a home delivery of paella. So I'm like promoting that, and in fact, I've ordered it. It's due to arrive sometime between four
Oh,
and
no
six this
worries.
evening. So I'll be able to do
Yeah,
taste
you'll have to let
testing.
us know how that goes. So obviously
Absolutely.
we are recruiters. We're passionate about career development and helping people
Mhm,
achieve their goals with their career. I've
mhm,
read and seen a lot of interviews with yourself. I was on a Qantas flight not long back, and you were in the Qantas magazine. And I've obviously done some research before this discussion. So you've mentioned in the past about having a career plan, and you knew where you wanted to get to. And that's something we always encourage people, because if you don't have that, you can obviously lose sight of where you're going, but you can make the wrong decisions. So how important has that laser focus been for your career?
Well, I'll start with some honesty. I didn't always have it. Okay. So I wasn't always clear about my career aspirations or my development plan. I think in my earlier stages, I was quite organic. I was always okay to take a risk, move overseas, jump across industries, or, take some very different jobs. So I was always, quite prepared to take risks. But actually, it was sort of in the middle of my career that an old boss of mine and a mentor now, Steve Vamos, who runs Zero globally, had a career discussion with me about, what is it I want to achieve, and setting some goals. And I was pretty vague with him. I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. I'm not quite sure. And on reflection, I was struggling with my desire to be humble, but my desire to have, career
Sure,
aspirations. And, we're talking about, should I, ever want to do a certain job? And he really said to me, don't leave people dying wondering what you want to do. Then they can help you. And it's okay to be able to articulate and speak about your career ambitions, and that helps you then build a plan. So I got more comfortable after some good coaching from Steve around it, and it was at that point I said, yeah, there are some things I aspire to do, and I know that in order to do them, I've got some capability gaps. And then I was able to, because I had some aspiration, talk to people about those gaps, how to close them, ideas, development ideas, and ways to get support.
sure. Yeah, and that leads me on nicely to the next question, because networking is so important in this day and age, and especially in all industries. But I find that people really get the best opportunities in the Salesforce ecosystem when they're connected. So, has networking been a real driving factor in benefiting your career?
Um, I'm going to say yes, and then I'm going to give you some context. I never liked the word networking earlier in my career because I associated networking um, with selfishness, like getting stuff that I want, or self
Hmm.
promotion. And I think the term networking sometimes, triggered a thought for me. I thought, I don't want to be seen like I don't want to be that. As I grew and experienced, challenges at work and, difficult search situations, what I came to know is actually the more people that I could tap into in those moments, the more I could help my team, more I could help my customer, more I could help the company that I work for. And I started to thinking about networking differently, not as, this self promotion or self serving thing, but actually, building relationships with people who could help you make a bigger impact. And at the end of the day, I've always been driven by working in a team. And the network is part of your team. People who you're going to team with to help achieve great things or overcome amazingly complex problems. It's not about self promotion. It's about having
Sure.
having that team.
And then the next question is, I guess it's an interesting one because it's around confrontation, and this again came from an article I read. And I think a lot of people are scared of confrontation, but I also think you don't get to where you have got to if you couldn't deal with confrontation, right? Because I think you have to face up to certain issues. So is that something you've always been comfortable with? And do you think it's something that fosters a kind of more positive environment if people can become comfortable with it?
Yeah, look, I grew up one of 5 children. We didn't have a lot of money, and there was only one bathroom in the house. So it was always a lot of confrontation and conflict. Just came out of that. Didn't make us bad people. It just meant you wanted to get to the bathroom first, or you wanted the last chicken wing, or something like that. So I think maybe part of my background and how I grew up impacted that. But I would say the following. I believe in healthy and diverse debate. When you have a problem or an opportunity, if everybody is looking at it the same, then some people aren't thinking. But when you can have lots of different, opinions, you're debating the topic, not the person. So keep it like that. Remember, the thing is, we're debating how to
Sure.
make this better, and having that diversity of ideas is a great thing. Um, but to have that healthy debate, you need trust. You need psychological safety. So, debate and conflict with trust, stronger outcome. Debate and conflict when there is no, so with trust, you get a stronger outcome, but debate and conflict with no trust, it's corrosive. It destroys relationships and pulls things apart. So you must, I think, build the foundations of trust so that when you are having that debate, you can look at each other and going, I don't think badly of you, or it's not personal. We both know that we're really, challenging each other to get to the best
Sure.
possible
So you're the CEO of a huge, a huge business here in ANZ. You've achieved so much in your career, but how do you keep learning, and how do you keep developing yourself?
Well, I think it's a number of things. The good news is I'm continuing to make mistakes, and they're the best form of learning. Yes, because you're taking some risks, you're trying new things, and I think those mistakes, fuel my desire to learn and do better. And I'm open to that. I continue to try to do really good listening and feedback. And my boss Ulrich gave me the best advice when I started. He said, just take as long as you can to listen and learn till it drives you crazy before you do anything. So, that coaching of listening and getting feedback. I have reverse mentoring. I have a young woman in her early 20s as one of my mentors. And it's really great to learn from somebody who's a completely different perspective. When I go out on an account call with an account executive, I ask them at the end of it, what feedback do you have for me?
I bet
What
that
could I
makes
do
you very
better?
nervous.
The first time, the first time they're like, "Oh, no, you were great. Thanks very much." And I say, "Well, thank you for that. But next time, you have to give me one piece of constructive feedback." And that gives them warning that they know it's going to come. And the next time, they're a little more tentative, but then they tell me, and I get such good feedback from them, things I haven't seen or noticed in myself. So that's great. I love to read. If I'm actually in my room right now. If I take you to my bedside table, you'd see Carol Dweck mindsets next to my bed, which is just my go-to piece right now that I really love. So yeah, I try and read and take inspiration and learn
Sure.
from others as well.
And the final question from me before we go to some of our audience questions. Which of the Salesforce initiatives that happen across the globe would you most like to bring to ANZ that isn't already here?
So I'm going to reshape that question,
I'm all
if you
for it.
don't mind. It's less an initiative. It's less an initiative, but I really want to get Mark Benioff to come out because he hasn't been out here, and I am so proud of our community. We have amazing MVPs, we've got incredible customers and partners. I really want to drive that connection, and for Mark to be able to see that and also be our greatest advocate back in San Francisco. He's incredible. He's already such an incredible guy, but to bring him and connect him even closer to that, given he hasn't done it, that's on
Yeah,
my
well, we have to wait for the borders to be open, but I'm very keen for that to happen as well.
Yes,
And I think you'll be.
we'll get you on the list, definitely. I might
Yeah,
start a
let's
Twitter
let's
movement.
let's get that trending. Um, we'll go to the
Yeah.
questions from some of the community. So this one's from Natalie.
From small town New Zealand to arguably one of the most coveted leadership roles in APAC, yours is an incredible success story. How do you balance a role such as this with the juggle of family life, and what do you see as the secrets to your success?
Big question.
Mm. Yes, I'm not surprised that Natalie sent that, I have to say. Well, first of all, I'd say, balance is an intriguing word. Sometimes it infers 50-50 or perfection. I am embracing messy. I am embracing, sometimes some things have to be just good enough and it's okay. I'm embracing being adaptive, making sure I look back on how I spent the week or the month and going, I wasn't, a good enough mum last month or a good enough manager or a teammate. And as I learn and I look back, I go, hey, how should I shape shift? And right now, we're also bringing in a little bit more flexibility. We're homeschooling, obviously, right now. I've got two daughters. They're both currently suspended for fighting with each other, and this mother, who's part home teacher, may have been fired for drinking on the job. So there's a little bit of complexity going on in my house, but we're having the girls also contribute more. So Sophie made dinner the other night. The girls are on dinners, and we're doing different things. So it's actually bringing a whole other life element of our life.
And
to
I
the
sound
forefront.
like I've been reading through all of your history, but I read that you asked for feedback from your daughters as well around how were you last month.
Yeah, I do. And boy, they're strong critics, those two, can I tell you? They are. And actually, I don't even have to ask so much anymore because they're pretty forthcoming. I've practiced speeches. I've made them listen to speeches I'm giving. Yeah, lots of different things. They continue to be, I think, great supporters of mine, to be honest, but also they bring
Yeah,
a great perspective to things. And I took Lucy into the office the other week. The girls have been really excited to, come in and see where I work. I've always tried to integrate them, both me at home with them and them into the office. Lucy came and did the Mardi Gras parade with the Salesforce team. And she's a big ally, as am I. And it was great to include her, my personal Ohana with my work Ohana, and bring
amazing.
those things together. So it was cool. And my team just wrapped their arms around her and welcomed her. They were incredible, like they were best friends or something. I was like, hey, what about me? She was the attention
So
seeking
have you
one.
got them on Trailhead yet?
Not yet, no. But they are right now. It's incredible to see how quickly the school has set up the distance learning. And since you follow me on Twitter, I just did a shout out last night to the head of IT at my daughter's school, and to him and to other people doing that job right now, what they're doing to try and help our kids continue to have the learning environment that they best can right now. It's just incredible. I'm so
Yeah,
grateful to
agreed.
people like that.
So next question is from Kieran.
My name's Kieran. I'm a Salesforce solution architect based here in Sydney, and it's great to be able to ask you a question. I'm really curious to know, out of all the core Salesforce values, which one have you found to be most prominent across the business in your time there?
So prominent, it's hard. They're all four of them. They're deep. They're really deeply ingrained, and so the word prominent's hard because it makes it feel like one is more. We say, and I see it. Trust is our number one value because you trust us to build our product in an ethical way. You trust us to make sure we help you use it in the right way. You trust us to do the right thing when we don't get it right. So trust is definitely at the core of the company. And I love that because I think it almost underpins all of the others. But I think the other one for me personally is equality. I've always believed that everybody is equal. They're just not always born into equal circumstance. I grew up I told you, we didn't have a lot of money, but I had best parents and a lot of love and great values. Amazing. Um, but I was wearing secondhand clothes. I was not, there's no silver spoon here, but my children are much better, or not better. I have more privilege than, my parents had at the same point. And I'm really conscious to make sure that my kids are understanding that, they need to be thinking about equality and not everybody has what they have. So, and that equality is, so true in Salesforce. We've got, 11 equality groups. from LGBTIQ to gender to Indigenous to Faith Force, all of those. We want everybody to come to our company and be able to do the best work of their life, not regardless of who they are,
Sure.
but because of who they are. We want everybody in there, and then we want that in our customers and in our communities. So I've been so in awe of how we bring
nice.
it to life.
Another question, and this is quite broad because you don't know the particular person's skill set. So I guess more so just for anyone that's struggling.
My name is Sudeka and I'm from Sydney. I have a question for you. What would you say to motivate someone who's struggling to find their first role in Salesforce economy?
Don't give up. Never ever give up. This is an incredible ecosystem. Be it, working with us, one of our partners and our customers. Continue to invest in your skills. Get on Trailhead. Do that. Explore. Go to user groups. Really get engaged and find people who have similar areas of passion and share with them why you're interested in joining this community. And I have to tell you, you will
Sure.
find people to help you here. You will, in this community, it is so vibrant. People will help you. So don't give up and just continue to explore Trailhead, user groups.
Agreed. So this one was asked before obviously well before the recording, but just after the World Tour became an online event.
Mark Whitmore, business analyst. So as we're aware, the Sydney World Tour is now a streamed experience only. So I have a couple of questions in relation to that. How do you foster a culture where decisions can be made effectively, especially when they're that difficult? And how do you foster a culture of adaptability to tackle a challenge like this?
Fantastic question, by the way. I'm not sure who answered it, but they're definitely, it's a great question. I use the word interesting. One of the interesting things around right now is people are having to make decisions that are some of the toughest decisions of their life. Decisions that you might normally take a month to make, 2 months longer, or you might test and pilot. That luxury has gone. We are having to make the hardest decisions of our life with not enough information. So we have to, for me, that is about principles. Our values are non-negotiable. We have to apply our values across those decisions. We did that for World Tour. People trusted us to put them in their interest at heart. And if we couldn't guarantee their safety and well-being, we weren't going to do that event. And I know at that time, some people thought we were overreacting. I am so proud that we used our values to make that decision. So use values to make your decision because you won't always have all the data. And if you can look at those and go, yes, we applied them, then do that. Know that your decisions will be imperfect. We are not asking for perfection right now. We are just asking for progress. Progress to help our customers, to help our people. It may not be perfect, but just decide where you want to go and get that progress happening because that'll set us and everybody up better when we go into the recovery and the return to the new normal. So do that. And when you make a mistake, and you are likely to, if you're a leader making decisions right now, do not beat yourself up. You are human. We make mistakes, learn from it, and then get back on the horse because
Sure.
As a leader, people need you right now. They need you, and they're not expecting perfection from you. And go back to your team. They're your biggest supporters, and get that energy and keep going.
And then the final question. This is from a small consultancy called Mint Consulting that have recently just started. So we had a few of the founders in the office asking this. So,
hi Pip, Michael from Mint Consulting here. I was just wondering if there's any cultural differences about the Australia and New Zealand region that you've noticed. Is there anything about managing that region different because of those cultural differences?
Oh, yes. This is such another good question. I have to be very careful in my response. I do think as Aussies and Kiwis, there are some cultural differences. Actually, I think there's differences between Australia and New Zealand even. So I think part of being, two countries who are, in many ways, we're borderless, we're islands. We don't have that, connection to other countries geographically. We are a little bit different, even within the Asia Pacific rim, or a little bit more Western in our methodology. And I think, when you think about that, I think that has created a space where we are quite innovative Like we don't wait for somebody to give us the answers. We just go create stuff, which I love. So I can see that creativity in the workplace when we're saying, right, what should we do? How do we figure this out? I love what my team have just recently done across Australia and New Zealand to create this hub, a COVID response hub for all of our people, because we've got all the stuff coming in. We've created this amazing central hub where people can find it and how they've done it. It's just best on
Sure.
the planet. Super proud of them. So there's such a sense of like, let's just fix it. And because we're not, we don't always have some of the resource rich things that other parts have, like head office. We just get people in a room and sort it out. We don't have to, wait 3 or 4 weeks. We're just agile. It's the right. Let's get in the room, sort it out, and do that. And I love that. I do think sometimes we have to be careful of not invented here syndrome. Are we just as open as taking great ideas from overseas as we are about sharing ours? So I think, we have to remember that, great ideas can come from every corner on the planet, not just ours. So I think there's a little bit of that for us. But the other thing I love about us as part of our culture is humor. Aussies and Kiwis, we like to have fun, and there's this great intersection, and you see it, I think, in the Salesforce community. There's such an intersection now between friends and customers and partners and workplace, because we like to enjoy each other's company as well, and I love that element of us. I was on with our Kiwi team earlier, just before I came on with you, doing a Zoom call with them, and they're all up on a gallery view, like 30 of them, and they're wearing crazy hats and doing different things. It's Friday afternoon, a couple of hours later, so they're having a Friday afternoon drink together, and I'm logging on to join them. Although I didn't have a drink, I did join them because I was hanging out with you, so there was no drinking before talking to you. But that's the sort of magic you see coming out of it.
Yeah, nice. And just one final quick: how excited are you for the Salesforce Tower?
I am so excited, and I'll tell you why. Because it's not just our home, I think it's our community's home. We will have an Ohana floor for our startups, for our customers, for our not-for-profits. We're going to share this home with our Ohana, and it's so amazing. And if you've been to Dreamforce and if you've seen Salesforce Tower in San Fran, it's pretty incredible to see how it's porous. It is porous with our community, and people come and go from it, and I really love that. So it's going to be amazing, and plus we're going to have the best view in all of Sydney.
I can't wait to see it, and hopefully Mark will be there for the grand opening. Eh?
Oh, hopefully we'll get him here before.
Okay,
and
you have
his second visit. Can we not tell him? I haven't told him that yet.
Well, look, thank you so much for your time. It means a lot to us, but it means a lot to the community to hear your views and the insight that you've provided. So thank you very, very much, and enjoy the rest of your Friday afternoon.
Thank you, and my huge thanks to you for inviting me on, and my gratitude to everybody in our community. You are incredible. We're really proud of you. We know you're going through a ton right now. And if there's anything we can do, please reach out.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much.